Good morning, evening, afternoon, whenever you're watching this. I'm your host, Leafy Potato Style, and welcome to another brilliant NRTS 1v1 cast. This match is brought to you by Brody and Mister. This is their second match ever. It's going to be taking place on Snowdrift, a very unpopular 1v1 map, but I think it's fairly unique in the strategies that you can pull off that are viable. You have to play this map different than you play anything else. But here we see we have Mister as the purple commander. We got Brody as the orange commander. Brody learned a lot from his first game. He's going to hit the ground running. Got some good farms to start with. I think he's going for a third worker open. Here we have Mister. A little late with his farm start, but not horrible. Mister, the favored player to win this match. Brody, I think this is his second ranked match ever. So this will be interesting to see play out. These casts are a little bit old. Nothing new has been added really to NRTS since I started recording these casts. We see Mister going from a very early vehicle depot. Brody just expanding out with 3 workers. He's got some militia here. Looks like Mister's going for a Jeep open. Not a horrible idea for this map. It's so big, you really like the mobility increase that you get. You more than double the speed of your militia if you put them in a Jeep. Here we have Orange's workers. A little bit, how do I say, lazy, maybe? They're just getting some extra overtime. They've got 5 minutes left on their shift anyways. Might as well stand around and do nothing, right? Here we have pairing militia and a worker in a Jeep. Not a horrible idea. You get to go out into the map pretty quickly, take farms that are way far away from your base, and have some sort of defense. The enemy has a whole bunch of trouble chasing you down like that. Orange, solid farm expansion. 4 workers is a bit much. Oh, that's 3 workers. I can't count. Sorry to say, 4 workers is a bit much. It's just 3. Backs off a bit. He sees the militia Jeep and doesn't want to get his worker picked off for free. He's got some militia himself. He's ready to defend. Oh no, that is 4 workers. I am good at counting. Yay. About to get the housing cap here, but he should be able to fend off any sort of light militia pressure that Mister's got going on. All it would take is Mister queuing a recon, though, and this is going to be a bit of a terrible investment from Brody. Mister confidently claiming these 2 farms that Brody initially vied for. Brody knows he's got an advantage here. Doesn't have to micro that heavy. That Jeep does not have a lot of HP. Just going to push these militia back. He's going to dent them really hard. Sure, he'll lose a couple troops himself by doing this, but he'll whittle down Mister's troops, and he'll have to go and rebuild them. Frees up a little bit of population for Brody, which can then be turned into a militia, which are right at this fight, since it's way closer to his command center than it is Mister's. Mister going to try to drop a tower in the middle of here. Not a bad idea. In fact, I would say that's a pretty good idea. Now, it looks like it's going to get shut down here. This Jeep is kind of being a bit obnoxious, and the farms are blocking a whole bunch of militia shots, so it looks like Brody's taking a lot of damage with his militia. This wouldn't be so bad if he had some militia constantly producing and rallying towards the front here, but yeah, that command center has been doing not a whole lot, and the workers have been idle. Mister eventually going to get a turret up at these 2 farms. That's going to be a pretty big deal if I do say so myself. Basically chokes up Orange's like easiest avenue of expansion and makes them expand around you. You drive a wedge between the 2 sections of his farms, and now he has to either commit his defenses to one half of the map or the other, instead of having a nice central spot to kind of hold. So that's going to be real nice for Mister. Getting the eco, but also just the position of the turret there. Really big deal. Going to be hard to contest without artillery, or at least without tanks. Brody continuing his expansion, though. And while Mister has gotten those 2 farms real close to his base, and that's going to be that's going to pay dividends in the long run, he is a bit behind on his farm development. Of course, he has plenty of farms that he can go and take now that are completely uncontested. As we see Brody drop an air pad over in the corner there. You have to forgive my my casting post the match. Don't always zoom in on the important things until well after they've happened. Brody puts the generator a little bit farther forward than I would recommend, but honestly, Mister's in no position to really contest it now. He's in farm mode. So he's going around the map, taking farms, working to get his economy to the point where he can afford to be producing vehicles. And at this moment, Brody's got a chopper out. He's ready to start harassing some. Vehicle depot, producing a bit more. I think that's going to be another Jeep, because it seems like Mister's making more militia. Keeping his force mobile. I think Brody just realized these workers aren't going to do a thing out here. Those are not friendly farms. That is not a friendly turret. Those are purple. You are orange. Alright, and Mister starts his housing. He's got a recon, actually. So we've got some, the Jeep there, low HP Jeep, probably just going to be used for mobility now. Probably just going to slap a worker in there. Run away from the choppers. They are the same speed, Jeeps and choppers. So you can use that to keep your workers alive in the face of chopper harassment. Orange decides, yeah, no, I'm not going to try to tower this far forward. It's probably not going to work out. Better deal to just put some static defense around my farms. And again, Mister building his economy up at home. Got 2 houses down. He's not going to be pop blocked at all. He's taking the farms immediately around his command center, who's looking to expand out towards yellow right now. Brody, in the meantime, got 2 choppers over here harassing. They take a while to dent the farms down, but they will be constantly working, and you can keep them alive with some proper attention. It's about to be 3 choppers out on the map. That'll be nice for Brody, help claw back a little bit of the disadvantage he got positionally from the start of the match. And Mister's in no position to really contest this yet. Brody starts on his housing. Not a bad idea. Try to keep pace with the guy who's got housing already. I see a lot of new players. They're like, they'll like get the idea that having more farms than your opponent means that you're in a better position, and then just not make any houses, and then just be down 200 eco to your opponent who just made them. Right? Like, the best farm advantage in the world doesn't mean much if you don't have any houses and your opponent has them maxed. Mister's been building a huge force of militia here, been keeping his command center busy. I like it. He's got some recons as well that'll help out. Now, all this dies pretty hard to some tanks, but Brody does not have any tanks. So against choppers, this actually is a pretty decent force. The recons are going to do not negligible damage to the choppers, and the militia have a lot of single target. Well, they have a lot of HP for their cost. They have only 40 HP, but they're only $9, which makes them the cheapest HP in the game. That doesn't matter against heavy tanks because they have splash, but choppers don't. So, in this case, Mister's army, pretty good at keeping the choppers from encroaching too far into his territory. Not going to be that much to shut him down, though. Again, the choppers are faster than everything. You can just keep him running away. Brody, focusing a little bit too much on chopper micro, forgot to make more choppers at home, isn't keeping his workers busy. That happens a lot, again, to newer players. That's another thing that you realize. Like, choppers are really good, but if you're just not spending your money in order to get 3 choppers microed, it's almost better to just not make them, and instead just spend your money, right? If you can get to the point where you've got a whole bunch of houses, and your workers have been building static defense, even if you're behind, that's arguably better than having some units that won't compete with an opponent with a good economy. Sorry, Megalovania is blasting in my ears right now. I was not ready for this. Alright. Tries to put this tower down. It's a bit late. These workers not doing a horrible job of shielding everything. The choppers kept intact. I would not recommend chasing too far into this. If I were in Brody's position, a hospital would be my immediate priority. Just get my choppers to the point where they can harass the units and constantly, like, choose when they want to fight, where they want to fight, and then heal up. Losing choppers here would absolutely suck. You have to be real careful. And it looks like we're going to lose 1, maybe 2 choppers because he's getting real greedy. Unit micro's not horrible there, but it's not good either. And there goes... Actually, he's got all of his choppers intact. That is, I would say, miraculous, but I think it's just impressive, honestly. All 5 of the choppers making it out of that fight. Absolutely got to have a hospital now, though, because 3 of them are on death's door and another one's chunked. Like, you've got to get those back to full HP. That's a lot of value that's just missing out of your choppers. They get hit once, they're out of the fight. That's $64 you're not going to get back. Mister keeps his head on his shoulders, says, okay, I've got a stronger economy now. I've got a stronger economy than my opponent. He does have a chopper advantage, but I can claw it back. Oh no. Brody tries to take out this turret here, immediately loses 2 choppers. Make it 3. And yeah, you get the turret out of here, but that's a really painful trade to see happen. He might lose another one here to militia. I mean, yeah, I could not say that was a good trade at all for Brody. Like, okay, you want to get the turret out of that position. It's a thorn in your side. It's preventing your expansion. But goodness, for 3 choppers, that's pretty bad. Mister lost a whole bunch of stuff there, but I think you just lost more value in units than he did with that push. It was like 10 militia and 3 recons. I feel the need to remind the audience that every chopper costs an extra $24 compared to a recon. Just gonna put that out there. Brody's back in a position where he has less economy and he doesn't have an immediate threat. His chopper force is dented to the point where it cannot fight units because it's like 2 choppers. Actually, where did the other ones go? I'm curious now. Did they die or did he sell them? Because he's got 2 fresh choppers over his command center and no hospital in sight. I guess he just sold them. Man, that's rough. That's real rough. And here we go. Mister's got a chopper advantage in terms of number of choppers. He's got a ground army in addition to that. And I mean, you want to talk about ways to leverage a higher economy to beat down choppers. You just make choppers and a ground army, and they can't fight both. And if you have more choppers than them, then like you're just favored to win. Doesn't mean that you will always win. There are ways that you can throw that. Choppers are pretty hard to micro. But anyways, yeah, Mister gonna reestablish the turret that Brody took 3 choppers to try to delete. Gonna put that forward as a forward operating base here, where he's just gonna rally his troops all there, and then he's gonna attack whenever he feels like he's got enough of a massive units here. Yeah, I mean, this is just... It's a crushing position here for Mister. If you're Brody in this position, you got 2 options. You resign, or you try to crush his economy. Like, you've got to take those 3 choppers and just be the most annoying piece of garbage ever. Make Mister do nothing but micro his choppers to try to stop you, and in the process, forget to spend his money, and quickly try to escalate your economy back into a position where you can fight. But yeah, I'm going around here. All of the undefended farms. Those choppers could have been on them. I mean, it hurts to see, but if you're in this position as Brody, it's hard to see it. You know, you've just got an enemy force that's outside your doorstep, and all you're focused on is, how do I not die to this? So, I mean, it's completely understandable. And Mister is not an incompetent opponent. He is pretty strong. I like calling him the Noob Slayer because his favorite tactics involve diving command centers with choppers, which kills new players pretty consistently. Got some anti-air in here with the ground army. Yeah, I mean, any prospects that Brody was going to fight off this invasion with just choppers are gone. You immediately need to start making militia if you want to hold this. Yeah, I mean, there isn't much to do. He's making barracks. He's just flailing now. We see Mister. He's got an abundance of money. He's been microing his troops over here. He's already got a hospital down here, but he's still floating money. Goes and upgrades a whole bunch of farms. When you're ahead, get more ahead. I mean, what's Brody going to do about it? He's got choppers, but he's not using them. You've got a chopper advantage, which means that you can chase him to the end of the earth if you really feel like you need to. Then we go forward vehicle depot. Probably going to get upgraded. Going to roll forward with artillery and some medics. Yeah. I don't want to say that this game is done. It's pretty done, though. Yeah, there we go. Upgrading vehicle depot within 2 minutes. That's going to be operational. You're going to have artillery marching forward. And that's just going to be that. Brody's in no position to be able to shut this down. There's anti-air turret. I mean, you're not... It's anti-air under a hospital, too. You're going to be real hard-pressed to do anything about that. Mister rubbing some salt in the wounds, Just going to go harass the undefended farms. I mean, that's what you do. That's what the choppers are for. If they're just going to be standing around, you might as well send them to go hit something. We got heavy troopers being made by Brody. They're not actually that bad in this situation. They hit recons okay. They hit choppers pretty well. Basically, they'll trade slightly better than 1-to-1 with every one of Mister's units right now. The problem is that they're more expensive than 1-to-1 for the recons. And while they're cheaper than choppers, it's not like they're going to be hitting the choppers very consistently. If the heavy trooper isn't shooting at choppers, the choppers are fine. If it is, you'd rather not be taking the fight. Choppers die in 10 heavy trooper shots. Heavy troopers die in 16 chopper shots. And they fire at the same fire rate, so in a head-to-head fight, heavy troopers are winning. Of course, choppers are faster, so they get to decide if they want to fight. And they're only going to fight when the heavy trooper's distracted by something. Anyways, that's a bit of tactical theory. Mister just going to continue the plan. There's farms out here that are not covered. I'm just going to hit them. I've got a hospital too, so any damage that I might incur to like a tower or something, I can just go heal up. Now he is getting a bit greedy here. I don't know if I agree with this. I mean, 5 choppers versus 4 is winning in an open fight, but if your 5 choppers are shooting at a farm, those 4 can get a lot of damage done on you before the fight actually starts. And now you have to win a tactical victory just by microing the crap out of your troops and getting them in a better position than the enemies. Mister gets away with it though. So a bit of greedy attack here, but it's working for him. Brody's focusing right now on unit production and not paying any attention to the fact that he's just lost 4 farms and that he needs to take them back. It's not going to be easy to, but you can at least spread your workers out a little bit and attempt to. Each one of those is 8 eco, and you're working with... well, you can't be working with that much right now. Got to make any attempt that you can to stabilize your position. Those towers are great and all, but now here comes the artillery. It's going to be marching forward towards Orange's base. It's going to be really hard for any ground units to really punish this. Your best bet really is just hoping that that artillery overextends, sniping that, making Mister go back and build another one, and in that time, getting just housing. You know, get the farms that are available to you, yeah, because they are way more efficient than housing is. But if you can get to 20 houses, and he can't stop you from doing that, it's easier to defend houses, in my opinion. They're just, you can keep them in one tight little place, and you can spam static defense around them, versus farms, which are scattered around the map that you now have to play around. Right, you have to defend a lot more area in order to keep your farms alive than you do for housing. And in Brody's position where you don't have that much area to work with, I mean, housing is the way that you expand your economy. And I mean, what, we're 17.5 minutes into this game now, and Mister's been ahead pretty much every second of it. You know, as Brody, you can cede advantage for a decent bit and still make it out alive. Here we see the fight, the heavy troopers going forward, soaking some shots from these recons. This chopper's getting destroyed though. That anti-air was putting in a lot of work. And here we see, I mean, the heavy troopers, honestly, with a couple of medics, that would have been insane. They push really far into there, they get a lot of damage done, but there's just no healing back here. He lost 1 heavy trooper for the privilege. He lost a couple choppers, but that's because the anti-air was there just getting a whole bunch of work done. I don't know why you sold that tower. It would probably just be smarter to just have it. Make it so that Mister has to push through it. He does have an artillery and some medics, but it just takes a while. You know, you got to gain some time. Here, these heavy troopers are just going to get destroyed. I mean, yeah, they're at, like, no HP. There goes the chopper. Now the only units you've got on the map are workers. There it is. GG. Well played by Brody. It's really hard to play from behind. I don't want to say that that's the expected outcome so much, but, yeah, Mister's been playing 1v1 for a while. Brody, again, this is his second game. Pretty well held, honestly. Placed some static defense around his base so he didn't die to chopper harass. Made some choppers, just had some trouble keeping them alive. Got a pretty terrible tactical and strategic position within the first 5 minutes in the game, and that's kind of hard to contest. And if you don't know exactly what you need to be doing, then it's easy to flounder there, but honestly, very well played by both players. I found this cast to be extremely entertaining. If you did as well, well, thank you for sticking around all the way to the end. I'm not going to do the like and subscribe shill thing because I like to think that my content stands on its own. But, you know, always appreciated. I honestly more appreciate people joining the Discord to talk about the game with me, but I understand some people don't want to do that. Anyways, thank you very much for watching this cast. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And remember, stay classy.